Okay, this is a quick video explaining the use and need for a decision matrix and of a weighted decision matrix, and they are different. So this is a decision matrix. It looks like the one that you'll have access to complete the assignment. You'll notice my instructions on the right say replace the words criteria 1, so criteria 1, criteria 2, etc., with and type in the name of the first most important criteria, and then the second, etc. So if, for example, performance is your number 1 criteria, that would go here. If safety is your number 2 criteria, it would go here. If durability is your number 3 criteria, it would go here, etc. If you have less than 10, just go back and delete the words criteria and leave those cells blank. Nothing will go here. If you need more than this number, then please send me an email. Then it says B, under words, idea, name, and author. So under this, I would like you to type the name of the design and then a hyphen, and so it could be like one arm screen holder, Cahoon. Okay? One arm screen holder, Cahoon. And then to make that fit, really what I would prefer that you do there would just be to click on the cell, then go up here to text wrapping and text wrap and make it fit. Okay? So we would do that all the way down for as many drawings as we have for the group, again leaving blank anything that we're not using. So basically what you're going to do is you're all going to have this in front of you, and you're going to have your own version. And so each group member is going to scan and then save and upload to your group's Google Drive. Okay, you're going to create a folder in your group Google Drive called Initial Idea Sketches. In that folder, you're going to put individual scans. So if I make 3 scans, I'm not going to scan one document. If I make 3 designs, I'm not going to scan it all as one document and put it in the folder. I'm going to scan it as 3 separate documents. I'm going to name those documents the way that I want them named here, and I'm going to save them to that folder. When it's time for the group to go over the ideas, everyone in the group will be able to go to the group Google Drive, open the folder with the sketches, open the design that I'm talking about, and look at it while I'm talking about what they're looking at and explaining it. After I explain it, everyone will then say, oh, okay, so if we had performance here, and we had safety here, and durability here, okay, that we would all then individually score this according to this. So after I explain my idea, everyone's going to take a second, ask me any questions that they may have, and then they're going to just score without telling each other. Okay, they're all going to have their own one of these open on their screen, and they're going to go across and they're going to say, okay, well, let's see, that I think the way it's been explained to me by Mr. Cahoon only somewhat meets the target. Right? It only somewhat meets our design criteria for performance, but for safety, well, it's not really safe at all, so I'm going to give that a 0. And for durability, well, it seems like it mostly meets that, etc. And we're going to go across and fill those in. We're not going to do anything in this column because it's going to total, as you can see, everything here by itself. So each member will complete one of these individually first. Then the group will open a blank one of these, fill this in, fill this in. The group will then all have to decide what score the group wants to give one arm screen holder for Cahoon. Mr. Cahoon rated it a 2, but Mr. Hill rated it a 4, and Mr. Bernstein rated it a 4, and Mr. Slack rated it a 3. So I was the designer. I may ask them why they because they obviously want to rate it higher on our group spreadsheet. So I would ask them why they gave it a 4 or why they thought it was a 3. It could be that they misunderstood my design, and so they gave it a higher rating on performance than actually it deserved. I designed it. I gave it a 2. I might have some good reasoning as to why it should be lower than a 4. So the group is going to come to some agreement. We may decide we want to give it a 3, and so on our group spreadsheet, we'll put a 3. The group finished spreadsheet, our decision matrix, is what you're going to take a snippet of for the assignment to insert into the assignment. You will not give me your individual rating spreadsheets. You will hold on to them in the group folder, but you will not give them to me. You will only give me the group, using the key down here to fill that out. So what does a decision matrix measure? The decision matrix is really good at saying, okay, here's the list of our ideas. Here are the list of our criteria from most important to least important. And notice I didn't say to not important, because if it's not important, then we would not have made it a criteria. And what it does is it says, okay, so how well does this thing meet this criteria? And how well does this thing meet this criteria? And how well does this thing meet this criteria, etc.? So what we're going to find out here is a total, but that total, as you can see here, so far, this idea is strongest in durability, which is the number 3 most important thing. Maybe cost is our number 4 most important thing, and I gave it a 4. So there's a problem there, because although I'm rating it, what I'm really seeing here is that it's not great in performance, it's terrible in safety, and it's very good to, excellent in durability and cost. But durability and cost are not as important to my group as performance and safety maybe. So we want a way to go a step farther. Right now, this just says, hey, how do I rate this object against this criteria? So for that, we would go to the weighted decision matrix. The weighted decision matrix instructions. Enter the information same as you did in the heading areas from the unweighted matrix. So you're going to type in the criteria in the exact same order here. You're going to type in the ideas in the exact same order here. Then it says, starting in cell B2, which is here, enter a number that the group agrees upon. Let me fix that typo. Enter a number. Okay, enter a number that the group agrees upon from the key below this table. Okay, so here we are rating how important we think this criteria is. So the numbers should start higher, like in the 5s over here, and should go down to lower numbers, because we put our criteria in order to begin with from most important to least important. It is possible, if you recall from the previous slide, it's possible that the group decides, and you're going to do this one only as a group. You are not doing this one individually, only as a group. So it could be that the group decides, okay, performance is obviously most important. Safety, because maybe this is going to be made for kids, is absolutely important. Durability is important, right? So durability may play in a little bit to safety. Cost, a little less important. Notice I'm basically saying that I can have more than one of these criteria be very important. But I should not have a very important criteria here and a very important criteria down here with important or somewhat important in between, because my criteria should be in order from most important to least important. But it is possible for the group to decide that more than one criteria would have that rating. Once the group does that, you will notice that it says in cell B3, enter the number that the group agreed as the score for the first item in the first criteria. So here you are going to enter the score that the group agreed upon for here. So in the group unweighted matrix, whatever number you put here, you're going to put here. So if I put a 2, because that's what we agreed upon, okay, notice this says 10. So what a weighted decision matrix is doing and why it is different. The weighted decision matrix is taking this number and multiplying it times the weight. The higher the weight, the more important it is. So it is better than just the basic decision matrix. A basic decision matrix tells us very basically, does this design meet those lists of criteria? Or does this design meet that criteria, and that criteria, but not really those 3 criteria? What the weighted decision matrix tells us that is better and more detailed is how well does this idea meet the criteria that are really important, that are mostly important, that are somewhat important, that are less important. And so when we get this number over here, this is the result of multipliers. So if we decided that safety, if we would have decided that safety was a 1, notice it's only going to add 5 to this column because it's going to add 1 times 5. If we decided durability here was 3 and cost was 4, notice that my score starts going up. Okay? But it's not going up as much as it would if, say, my 2 things that are really important, right? So my idea number 2, I might say, well, that was a 4, that was a 4, that was a 1, and that was a 1. And notice that my second idea is higher. And why it's higher is because it's telling me that, wow, the things that are most important to the group, this thing does really well. The things that are a little less important to the group, it does not do well. Okay? So what I expect to see from the group in your evaluation of this and your decision on what your final idea is going to be, it may be that the group just says, wow, man, Mr. Hill, his third idea was awesome, and let's just go with that. And that may be the highest number. It may be, and is more likely though, that your final idea will be a combination of many of these ideas. So what I'm looking for you to discuss in your evaluation of the weighted decision matrix is how you came to your conclusion. When you say, we are combining this idea, what are the things of this idea? And then you're combining something from this idea. Well, what are the things from this idea that you're keeping? And what are the things from this idea that you're keeping? And it might be that, say, Mr. Bernstein's idea down here scores the lowest, but maybe it has the best score for something else. And all of us ignored that criteria for the most part, and we're like, wow, Mr. Bernstein, even though that wasn't a great overall design, that feature that you wanted, that has got to be in our final idea. So it could be that even something that scores very low has unique features that you want to include in your final design. Okay, and that's how you'll create the weighted decision matrix, and then you will copy this whole thing right here. So, well, not copy, you'll take a snippet of this part of the chart, and you will insert that into the document where it tells you to do so. Okay, that is weighted decision matrix and unweighted decision matrix in less than 15 minutes. Thanks.